If he prays every day in the morning, the shaitan will tend to make him take it easy in your vacation. You are in a vacation, you can get up a little bit late, you can pray the khaza, still you are praying, right? And when you are in a travel, when you are in a journey, shaitan will say, okay, in a few minutes we are going to reach the destination, then we will pray the asr. By the time, there will be traffic or there will be some roadblock, you will miss the asr. So whenever there is a time, we need to do even if it is the smallest thing, we need to be taking care the shaitan does not distract us. And this last sermon had an important message for the rights of the woman. Prophet ﷺ said, you have the rights on your woman and they have the rights on you. And Islam is the religion which commanded the rights for the woman way before the Western world came into force. The Western world expressed the needs for the woman or the so-called liberation of woman maybe around like a century back. But this sermon was delivered in 1425 years ago, where the Prophet, the leader of the humanity, he commands every individual that the woman have a right on you. So Islam has given the right for women. I mean, we need to interpret. If some of the women thinks their skin showing is a kind of a right, then Islam doesn't approve that right. But for that, Islam approves every right of the woman. And Prophet ﷺ said, like, feed them and clothe them in kindness. Take care of them. They are your amana. Allah is going to ask you about your woman. How did you deal with your woman when you died? So Prophet ﷺ said that be kind with them. And he said that they are your partners and committed helpers. Every one of you who runs a family, who has a wife, who has a mother, who has a sister, they know the attitude of the woman is always to help their family, right? They think less about themselves and always their priority, if he be a wife, be a mom, be a sister, they always think about the other members in the family. That's how Allah has created that. So if a deed has been created in a way, it is timid, right? It is shy. So that's how Allah has created a female. He has put in her mind, or put in her heart a kind of compassion. That's why Prophet ﷺ said, they are your committed partners and helpers. I'm sure, like in any family, the most of the decision, if not all of the decisions, are made in consultation with the woman. Be it in wherever you are. In some of the families, the women take the most of the decision. We should not go into that situation too. So absolutely Islam gives the rights for the woman, and they are the partners, Prophet ﷺ said. And also Prophet ﷺ said the woman should not approve anyone who's as a friend who her husband doesn't approve, and they should maintain her chastity only for her husband. Then further in this sermon, Prophet ﷺ said, worship Allah and Allah alone, and say the 5 daily prayers, and fast during Ramadan, and give the zakah if you qualify, and do the hajj if you have the money and you come into the category for person who do the hajj. These are the principles of Islam which everyone should follow. So he made the religion very simple by the command of Allah. We should be following his command. And further, this is the most important one he said, is that all mankind are from the Adam and Eve. So an Arab does not have any superiority over a non-Arab, or vice versa. We can see that coming from a country coming from a state or a province, in my place, there are people who talk Urdu, and there are people who talk the regional language like a Tamil or a Malayalam or whatever it is. The Urdu speaking guy, Muslim, thinks he is the real Muslim. He thinks he is the real Muslim, and the Tamil Muslim or the Malayali Muslim, whoever is living the minority, he thinks they are not the right Muslim. But when he comes to the Gulf for the work, then he realized he is being looked very lowly by the Arabs, right? So that's why Prophet ﷺ said, no one is big or small by the birth or by the caste, or by the family. If you feel he is great based on the taqwa, based on the piety and good action what he does. So everyone is equal in the eyes of Allah Rabbul Izzat. And further he said, like, Muslim constitute one brotherhood. Meaning what? If there is some sorrow, some bad happening elsewhere, we need to do physical help or monetary help, or if not, at least we should feel sorry about the state of affairs happening to the Muslims across the world. We shouldn't think, okay, I am praying 5 times, I am giving my zakah, I am doing my fast, whatever happens in this world, I am going to get myself isolated because it's their fate. No, Prophet said it is the universal brotherhood. That's why we address everyone as brothers in Islam or sisters in Islam. That's one religion. And the meaning of this is also that this religion is standardized. We can't create things on our own. That's why Prophet said, I leave behind two things. I leave behind two things. One is the Quran and another is the Sunnah of me. And Sunnah means the lifestyle or his way of living. Right? If you follow these things, you will never go astray. He made it very simple. Like we need not get into the cultural impacts of the place where we live. Suppose if we live in this Christian world, the Christian culture is there. We should take care that the culture doesn't become a part of our religion. If we're living in a Hindu majority, the Hindu culture sets up into the Muslim culture and Muslim things. It is a part of the Islam. But look at Islam is a universal religion. It is standardized. We need to see, okay, if we are doing something, is other part of the world is also doing that. Now the world is connected through the internet. We could Google it and find out, am I doing something wrong? That's the Prophet said, just follow my Sunnah and the Quran, you will be successful. Otherwise, you will go astray. And then the Prophet ﷺ concluded, all those who listen to this should pass on to the message to everyone who is not there in the best of the way he understands, as if he is sitting there. This is the command where he said, like, this is the command which says, like, when you know a thing, you need not worry that I'm not a scholar, right? I'm not a scholar. My Islamic knowledge is very, very minimal when I compare to the other guy. The guy in the guy in the mosque is most knowledgeable than me. I shouldn't say anything. No, Prophet ﷺ said the command, meaning of this command is that whatever you know in the religion, if you know it is authenticated, you got to pass on to the others. That's what Prophet ﷺ said. Then Prophet ﷺ completed his sermon by saying, "O Allah, that you are my witness that I conveyed my message to your people." So Prophet ﷺ's sermon, the farewell sermon, had a very, very strong message, not only for the Muslims, but for the whole humanity. We should make dua to Allah Rabbul Izzat to follow the teachings of Prophet ﷺ as expressed by him in his last sermon. And he made the religion very clear and simple. We should follow the steps of Prophet ﷺ, and we should be thankful to Allah Rabbul Izzat for our own good, because Allah is Ghani. Allah does not need our prayers, right? Allah doesn't have any need. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah,